Greetings, Professor and fellow classmates. My name is Siddiqui Zatnubia, and who I desire to become is an edutainer. And that's a play on words with a mixture of education blended with entertainment. That's educating through entertainment. My personal journey to developing and mastering this art has already started, and it started years ago, but it's been a lot of detours that kind of slowed that process down, which I have now found a new passion and a desire to pick it back up, which is the reason why I chose the master in entertainment business. When I think about the five strategies given from Robert Greene, I can't help but to think of the journey my life has took from the time when I moved from Chicago, which originally I am from Chicago. That's kind of where the journey to pursue rap took the detour. And when I read the Return to Your Origins, the primal inclination strategy, it was a Darwin, philosophy, but I never was a fan of Darwin, but nonetheless, this was very informative. In the Return to Your Origins, the primal inclination strategy, I thought about the many nights that I sat up thinking about the past in the sense of what inspired me. And I've always hungered and thirst to get back to that passion. The passion that I had was aloof for a long time, but nonetheless, I still was inspired to write and to produce music. And I think the return to your origins speaks to the return to your passion. What are you most passionate about? What what moves you emotionally? And I think if there was ever an art form that moved you emotionally, music is that art form, has always been. And I just remember after writing a rhyme or putting a beat together how emotional I got. And the other jobs that I have held in the past just didn't do that for me. One of my occupations was a truck driver. I used to be a truck driver and did over the road for about 4.5 years and made good money. And I could honestly tell you, one day I sat in the cab of the truck, I was in tears because I knew that that was not what I was called to do in this life. I didn't see myself doing that. So return to what I was most passionate about. That hit me like a ton of bricks. Um, and I think the edutainment portion, even though rapping, everybody is rapping nowadays. You see it on the commercials, you see it on TV, you see it in movies, you see it everywhere. But it's all the same. And this is where I think my niche comes in at. There's not many rappers that are in the mainstream educating. Now, some they put education in their raps. They would talk about some notable things, but not in the form of teaching. Even going ways of teaching it a little bit different from the way KRS One teaches it, and you teach again through music. Um, but this, for me, I think the the idea that I have to teach it is different from what they do, and and I wanted to use it. I just want to use it as a tool, and that's to start a um, record label or entertainment company as a non for profit. And this would again raise awareness to our history and culture, as well as raise money to a lot of African heritage and African American history museums that are low funded, to help them to gain some notoriety as well as funding for their operation. And we use music to do that. I've started already working on a concept to it, and I think this is my niche. And again, um, hats off to Darwin, I guess, but you know, I think that philosophy kind of holds true. Returning to origins and find a perfect niche. Yoki Matsuka, her story stuck out to me the most because she took two things and she married them: the desire and passion for technology along with tennis. And at the time, I'm sure there was a lot of people that told her, those two things were incompatible. They didn't fit. She was probably called crazy. Who knows? But nonetheless, she had a passion for tennis, and she had a passion for numbers and calculating and measuring, and then turned into robotics and neuroscience. So that, to me, is kind of like how I envision history and culture with music. And well, hell, hip hop has been that in the beginning before the whole commercialization of it, through spoken word, speaking about the times. Hip hop metamorphosed into from that spoken word into what we have today, which is the rhythm, the word sound rhythm, that goes with that is a part of rap music, and which is again a component of the hip hop culture, which takes that history and culture and that education, and it infuses, and is infused with a beat. So to be able to teach it and take it a step further, to take it to a whole nother level, hasn't been done yet. And I've checked. Um, I've ran into a lot of false paths. Again, I told you I was a truck driver. Not only was I a truck driver, but I also did security. I also have a bachelor's in psychology, which, by the way, again, that's another passion of mine, is to inspire and to encourage people. What better medium to use to do that than music and education? So again, that's a third component to my niche, to bring that, in that sense. Again, the false paths. I've done security. I've worked with the developmentally disabled for a number of years, and I love that population. I love working with those that view life in a different aspect, and it gets no better. You can't find any better people on the earth than those that are developmentally disabled, that view life from a different perspective. I'm always a fan of those that view life from a different perspective, whether they're developmentally disabled or not. And that to me, but to me, that was still another false path, because although I loved doing that work, I still didn't find my fulfillment. There still wasn't, it was the gratification, but, still not being fulfilled. And the only thing that I've ever been, honestly, felt that I was fulfilled was sitting in the studio, at 3 o'clock in the morning, hammering out a beat, writing some lyrics, listening to music, um, and studying history and culture. I would do that religiously. To me, there is a spiritual aspect to that that's kind of, it goes unnoticed, or should I say, it goes missed by the majority of those that listen to music. And now, when I pursued my bachelor's degree, I found myself getting back to that, and that was through a host of classes that kind of brought me in the remembrance of my history and culture. One of the five strategies that stuck out to me the most was the fifth one, finding your way back. You know, and the they added to that. It was kind of like a life or death thing. Um, kind of like what 50 Cent say, get rich or die trying. That was his goal. But I take it in another aspect. I look at it as you only have a short time on this world, on this planet, and you either get out what's been put on the inside of you, or you just die. And it's just as simple as that. Um, I was told by an old pastor of mine, he said one of the richest places in the world was a graveyard. And I was kind of lost on why he said that. And I was like, well, why? He said, that's the place where all the $1 million ideas are buried. So you have a cemetery full of people, not saying all of them died without getting out the ideas and passions that were on the inside of them, but they still had ideas and dreams and goals that never was realized. So that's why I call it the richest place on the planet. I take that to heart. I have a lot of ideas, a lot of visions, a lot of dreams, goals that I would love to pursue. And I look at myself now, yeah, I'm going to tell my age. I'm 39, about to be 40 this August. And I look at my life, and I don't want to die without putting out the vision that's welling up on the inside of me. I feel that I'm about to give birth to a monumental idea that the world would need, you know. So that's why number five, I think, is key to me. My desired dream is to do this. I don't have a career. I don't want to belittle that by saying my career path. I want the world to benefit from what's on the inside of me. And I don't think you could ever say that that's a career. And you could probably say it's a business, but I just call it a dream. I want to be able to live my dream. And the dream that I have is not a dream, not just my dream, but it's the dream of those that came before me. So I've always wanted to give back to them, my ancestors, my elders, so that my children would be able to reap the benefits of that, as well as other generations to come after me. And that's, to me, that's my desire, my deepest desire. I don't think about nothing else. I eat, sleep, breathe it.